Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back to the Vintage Story Guide. We are back on this very stormy day and a very early start, because if you will see up here in the upper left corner, we have a temporal storm approaching, and that is actually perfect because today I wanted to do something involving temporal storms, specifically. Hello, hanging bamboo leaves. But for the moment, I'm going to go ahead and pop in here. I'm going to seal this up. I'm going to trade all of my spears off of here, put some fresh ones on, and then we are going to cower our way through this temporal storm, pretending like we're fighting and braving the dangers when really we're just kind of sitting here in the shooting gallery and throwing dynamite into buckets of fish. So yeah. That's what we're doing today, at least to start. But for now, I'm going to get through the temporal storm, and afterward, we will get around to what I said, something to do with temporal storms. Alright everyone, we are back, and we got quite the haul. We actually got 4 temporal gears, 15 flax fibers, and 6 rusty gears from that. And as you can see, I've done some bear cleanup, but not from the bear that ended up dropping into our drifter pit here while we were fighting. Now I killed a black bear over there. I don't know where this other bear went. I have no idea. And I hope it went that way, but I don't know. So there's a decent chance we might just, well, we might need to do a quick run through of like these holes here. See if there's a bear anywhere in them. And then maybe just take a quick spin around our house here. Whoop! Oh, the bear got me. That's the bear's fault. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're okay. Yeah, that was a bit of an interesting surprise with that brown bear just popping in there to say hello. And right there is the black bear that I killed. There seems to be one that kind of ends up wandering over to right there. And I keep killing them about the same spot every time. So there must be like a spawn spot somewhere over there. But anyway, everyone, we are back. And check it out. We have some more pumpkins. So I'm actually going to grab a couple of these, because we can actually pick these up without disturbing the vines. I do think we don't want to hurt any of the withered vines, because I'm pretty sure the pumpkins can actually continue to grow off the withered vines. So, yep, lesson learned from last time. Do not mess with pumpkins. Just let them do their thing. Do not get in their way. Yep. Now here we go. We have a fully withered pumpkin plant. That means that this is not going to grow at all. So we can go ahead and actually break this one, and this one I'm sure of this time. And we can actually probably just plant right there again, because our fertilizer is still at well above 100%. We actually have 79.4% phosphorus, so there is no point in waiting. We should probably slap a pumpkin in there, although I might just wait till all these wither, so that we can just sort of get them all done at once and make sure they are like lined up time-wise. But now that we have 4 pumpkins, I think we should take a moment before we get into the meat of the episode and talk about how to use these. So pumpkins are pretty cool, and they're kind of interesting. They are a vegetable, as you can see. They have 480 satiation, which for any individually grown vegetable is actually the most. As you can see, it's even more than cabbage at 300. However, pumpkins, while you can just go ahead and eat the entire pumpkin, at least in this version of the game, this is going to be changed in 1.19, where you'll no longer be able to just smash a pumpkin into your face and somehow swallow the whole thing. But pumpkins, although you can eat them currently this way, if you want to use them in something, you can't. At least not in their whole form. Now instead, you must first cut them, and you'll get 4 slices out of them, just like with a pineapple, although the pumpkins actually came first. And as you can see, you'll actually get more satiation out of them. Interesting. Really? I'm not sure that was always like that, because I'm pretty sure it used to be 120. But we're getting 140, which times 4 does not equal 480. It does not. That should be 560 then, which is interesting. But once you cut them, you can use them in a meal just like a normal vegetable, and they provide a bit more satiation than the average vegetable, but of course not more than a cabbage, at least in their individual slices. I'm going to go ahead and put these in here. They last a decently long while. As you can see, they don't last super duper long, like 1 year or whatever. Oh my. We're actually about to run out of our other vegetables. Whoopsie. That's fine though. We'll turn them into rot, and then we will put them in our fertilizer compost bins and then forget about them forever. But I'm going to clean up my inventory. I'm going to get some materials together, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do today. And that does involve our drifter pit. So, drifter pit. Deer, drifter, pit, dirt, castle thing. It is time. It is time. Well beyond time for an upgrade, because this thing has been here since basically our very first temporal storm, and we have not upgraded it, and it is still a dirt hovel. So I wanted to do a material upgrade to make this thing look prettier, but I also wanted to try a new design, because this works pretty well. It will trap any drifters that wander in, and they kind of come up these stairs here, and they wander into this pit here, and they're stuck until I kill them, or until the temporal storm goes away and they despawn. And that's great, but what about drifters that end up walking, say, here, and then this way? Well, they get away. And same for if they end up spawning, say, on top of the drifter pit here, which they do on occasion. They can just sort of hop off here and then go their merry way. So I was thinking we might be able to capture more drifters and therefore get more loot out of them if we were to sink this into the ground a little bit and use the same pattern, but kind of build like a little ratcheting pit here where they can fall in part way, and then they're stuck until they fall the rest of the way, at which point they're at our mercy. At the same time, of course, I said I wanted to do a material upgrade, and that's what we're going to do. Now, for this, I don't like having a single door in most builds usually, because if you have a single door and you're trying to get into your home real fast, especially if you actually have a door on your doorway, then you can end up in a situation where you open the door, but you hit the door itself and you get stuck there, and whatever's behind you catches up to you. I don't like that, so I like to use double doors a lot if I can. And so we're going to actually change this from a 5 block wide design to a 6 block wide design, and we'll also make it 6 blocks wide this way, so it'll be still a square. And then once we sink it into the ground, we can gussy it up. But the general idea is going to be basically the same. Let's get our shovel out here. I have a shovel. There you are. I also have a project bin we can actually start filling up here. Let's go ahead and drop these in here. And yes, you'll see I have a suspiciously large amount of marble with me. I have a bunch of tools. And I also have a bit of a backpack chest here, full of large amounts of clear quartz and lake ice. I have some other materials in mind, but I'm not sure we'll get around to using them. But I thought we could start with this, and so, my goodness, there you are. Yes, we could start with that. And we are going to really annoy this bear here, because I need to get rid of it. Okay. I mean, if you're gonna, then I'm gonna. We'll just tuck you guys in here for now. That's fine. So, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by the bear, is that we are going to dig this down here. I'm just going to mark where these are currently, and then we'll tear down this whole build, and we'll start fresh. That other bear scared me. But there is a bear in this hole. It has been here for over a year, and it is very much stuck there. So, I'm happy to leave it there. Okay, got our holes dug. Let's tear this down and turn this into a nice flat plane again. And here is where our dirt fort once stood. It is time to move some of these out a little bit like so. And we will dig out some of this eventually later, but I want to get this lined up right first, so we're going to just go ahead and do that right now. It's going to come out this way in both directions. This is just going to come out in that direction. So we should now have a 6x6 interior here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yes, we do. And that should let us then widen this path out by a couple blocks in order to just make it meet up with our new door. And in you go. All right. Excellent. So, as far as the physical design of this goes, we are still going to have a wall that runs like this, kind of between these two areas here, like so. And we'll have a doorway right there. Now, the difference here is that we are going to dig these down 4 blocks. Oop, I didn't actually want to get in here, but okay. Interesting. Okay, so those are all said and done. What we're going to do next is we're going to change up the outer shape of our little fort here. And we are going to dig the rest of these down 2 blocks, starting 2 blocks from the exterior. Like so. And we're also going to dig out the single block around these pits here, like so. And like I said, they're going to go 2 blocks. And there we go. We now have our moat dug, as opposed to our other moat, whose name was Dan. Now, I've gone back to the house to get a few more supplies. I thought it might be nice to maybe try using some of these ancient stairs and pillars and things. So if we can make them fit, then we will. And that might be a physicality thing of fitting into the chest as well. And I also went and got us some wood, because this is going to be a slightly different design and purpose. What we want is that any drifter that ends up inside this area cannot leave. That's the whole point. So that way, if a drifter comes into here, well, they are stuck in here, and they can't get out. It doesn't guarantee that they'll end up down on one of these, but it does increase the likelihood. Quite dramatically, probably. And that way, once they're in here, they might be like, hey, you know what? This doesn't look so bad. I'll just pop on in. And now they're stuck. Just like us. However, drifters and most other animals don't usually like going down more than 1 block at a time, because although they won't get hurt, some of them, drifters included, I believe they were changed at one point in the past to kind of know that going down 2 blocks means they can't get up. And that's why you'll see sometimes the drifters that were in the old version, they'd kind of hang out right at the edge here, and they'd turn around and run away. Because they know bad things happen when they drop down 2 blocks. So, what we're going to do is we're going to trick their AI a little bit. And yes, we're doing the same thing that you would do in that other block game, which is we're going to add some non-full blocks to the area here. And we're going to use those to trick the drifters into thinking that there are indeed full blocks here. We do that in pretty much doubly so the exact same way, and that is with trapdoors. Let's go ahead and make a whole ton of those guys. And what we can do here is we can line these walls, maybe not quite like that. And what we can do here is we can line these walls with trapdoors, like this. Oops, I can fall in apparently. And what we can do is we can open them, like this. And the drifters will believe that this is a walkable block, all the way out here. Now, they'll still look down here and be like, oh, no, I'm not going down there. So we trick them again. We put more over here and open these up. So now drifters think that both these are walkable blocks, and they will just meander on in, thinking they can walk here, and they can't. Pop down, and now they're stuck. So we're going to make some more of these, probably making some more... Oh, I do have some more sticks here, so we're good there. We will probably need some more of these, though. And I'm going to line this whole thing with these trapdoors, including in the corners and down in the pits here. We're going to put the same thing down here. We'll put trapdoors around here, and probably one open right here in the corner as well. And here is what that looks like when it's all said and done. So we now have trapdoors on both sides of these moats here, these moat walls here, as well as down here. And down here, I did initially go for a sort of like pinwheel design where I had one here, one here, one here, and one here. Lesson learned, do not do or attempt pinwheel designs in block-based games. It does not turn out very well. Anyway, here will be where our door is. And of course, we have a couple options. We could just jump across, but I do want to use some actual doors here. So it'd be kind of inconvenient to need to, open the doors mid-flight. And also we'd bump our head unless you use the 3 block tall doors. So we can, of course, just open these when we need to, and maybe even leave them open most of the time. Or I guess this is the closed position, whatever. And then once we come in here for a temporal storm, we just pop them open. And once we're done, we can close them back up, and we can get out. Now that is the physical design, and we are, of course, going to have a means probably down in the back here to get down to the correct depth in order to deal with drifters. I'm going to set some ladders in here, like so, although these might end up popping out a bit later. And down here will be where our killing floor is. We should... there we go, okay. Like that. That's right, this needs to come out like this, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Silly me. And there we go. This will be our killing floor. We are, of course, going to need to put in our protections in here to keep crawlies from getting to us. And they'll go against these blocks here. Now, what about the actual design of this thing? The appearance of it? Well, I was thinking, we, of course, are hobbits living over there in yon hole. What if perhaps we had, say, I don't know, an elven friend who had a more elegant taste in architecture, and this elven friend said, hey, you know what? Hey, buddy. Hey, Corazar, my hobbit friend. I want to build you a small tea house. And that, I think, is what we're going to have. We're going to build a little tea house out here. We'll probably have like a little, I don't know, like a couple tables and chairs here and other things to decorate with. And we'll make this out of mostly glass, but then framed with the white marble, ancient pillars, and probably some polished marble while we're at it. So I think it's time for us to get down to the business of actually designing this thing and getting it done. Now, I was thinking it could be interesting to have a bit of a pillar that comes down, probably to, honestly, maybe even just flush with the floor there. And we'll start with these here in the corners. And I'm using these sparingly because we only have a few of them, and they are expensive to buy and rare to find. But I was thinking we could bring this up maybe a couple blocks, probably 3. There we go. And then we can dig this out from underneath. That should then let us pop under here with some of these. And what I can do is I'll come through and chisel these, and we'll just knock out this quadrant right here, this octrant. And that way we'll have it showing that there is some support leading into the foundation of the dirt here, which will no longer be dirt by the time we're done. So I'm going to get these in. And then just for the front of the build, I think it would be nice to use some more of the pillars, like here to frame the door. And then probably one more again. And then we'll come in here and we'll have a little bit of an archway over the doors. And we're not going to care if this is sealed or not, because this doesn't need to keep us warm very long in winter. So any kind of silly stuff we do here with chiseling and so on is not going to really matter. And then I was thinking we could use up more of these stairs here. And we can run this across like this. Have a bit of and add a bit of depth to our build here. Now, I think we're probably just about done with the ancient blocks, although I am thinking we might want to do something like this here. Make them one taller. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. But we will tuck those away. I do think we'll use the ancient slabs down here, though. And we'll use them as our drifter shields, drifter guards. Oh, I hear you, Bear. Don't worry, Bear, this trap isn't for you. Now, most of the rest of the build is going to be lake ice and or quartz glass, and then some white marble and chiseled white marble. And I think it is time for us to just kind of get that in. I am going to ring this, if possible, with some marble. It's going to go all the way around here. As an example, let's just grab you. It's going to go the whole way around here and ring it like this. And if I need to, we have plenty more marble down where this came from. But I think we might have enough. I guess we'll see. Oh yes, this is starting out nicely, I think. Now, I think I want to come in here with some polished marble. And I have been using the marble I've chiseled previously, but I think I'm going to use a polished marble for kind of the foundation here. So we're going to need, what, 24 of these to start. There we go. And we're just going to dig out this stuff here, and we'll fill these in. Yeah, I think those blocks work pretty well together. We have the bright, pure white of the pillars and the kind of mottled bluish white of the marble. So that is the general shape. I think the next thing I want to figure out is, do we want to use more quartz glass or more lake ice? Let's find out. So quartz glass is that opaque. Lake ice is that opaque. That's a very good question. I like the color of the lake ice a bit more. I'm not sure that I like the lake ice itself. It's just too opaque here. It might be good, actually, for the roof. And what we'll do here is we will, for any glass that we place, we will chisel it, which will remove these black lines here, the outlines for it. Oh, I don't know. I do like the blue. Like, it really fits. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I think for the sides, we'll at least use the quartz glass. The lake ice, if we use it, we will relegate it to the ceiling. Now, in case it's been a while and you haven't made any quartz glass, and you also forgot that placing and removing lake ice causes no longer stack, which is wonderful. To make your quartz glass, all you need is some clear quartz and some sticks, and you can make a whole bunch of it this way. It does require a lot of sticks, though. So we now have 32 of these. I'm going to fill in this front here, like so, and fill in these here. And there we go. Currently kind of ugly because of all these black bars, but if we come in here with our chisel and our hammer, bam, look at that. Oh, it's gorgeous, I tell you. Gorgeous. I think what we'll do, in order to keep it from being too flat like it is right now, we're going to grab our hand planer, and we're going to push all these back by, I don't know, 2? Maybe 4. Yeah, there we go. This way we basically have a slab of glass that is centered on the block. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to all this glass, and we'll take a look at it after that's done. Okay, and there we have our slabbed glass. It's looking pretty fine. And next I want to get kind of the roof going on here. And for that we're going to use some chiseled marble. Well, not polished, just chiseled. And what I want to do here is we're just going to make kind of like an archway between each of these. So we're going to start here. And we're going to do this, and we'll probably come up like... How do I want to come up here? Maybe we'll come up like this. And then come up one more. Oops, like that. Like this, and then like that. Let's see if we like that shape. It's a little taller than I imagined, but it's not bad. I could deal with that. Do we have enough of these to go around? Yes, we do. Okay. I think we can do that. We can put another window in here or something. Maybe, ooh, I don't know. Maybe some kind of design Ooh, or stained glass. We really haven't touched on stained glass aside from the fact that we can buy it yet. So that might be an option. I think what we'll do here is we're going to do some light-ish chiseling. I don't want to get too crazy with this because chiseling glass, again, is just pain. And I don't think I want to get too involved in doing the glass chiseling today. Well, let's go ahead and get the other arches in here and let our dirt blocks bounce to their heart's content. Okay, I think that's a pretty good start. Now, what I want to do here is I'm thinking, let's do some food first. Let's grab some of this. I want to see how this looks if we do a line of these blocks across the tops of these windows here. It's interesting. The marbles change from regular to polished is a lot less intense than most other stone types. It's interesting. I don't dislike it here, though. It's not bad, but it kind of makes me want to do the rest of this in that same kind of, polished motif. But since it is different, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Let's see if it looks any better with the regular blocks here instead. Yeah, that actually looks better. So let's go ahead and just do that. Now these will be different. I am going to just run those pillars the whole way up, as well as that glass there. So we need a couple more of these guys. All right, pillars in, and glass. Almost done. There we go. Okay. That's starting to shape up, I think. Yeah, I'm liking that quite a bit. So I want to come in here then with, finally, the lake ice, and let's see how this works on or as a ceiling. I think it should work pretty nicely. I want to start with it up here in these sort of little things here. Like so. Yeah, that way we're getting a foggier look up above toward the sky. That should work pretty well, I think. Now here we're going to leave this open. I do think I want to get some kind of stained glass in there. So I'll have to go and see what we can dig up from our local, or not so local, luxury goods traders. Now in here, we're going to start with a piece of glass here, or ice here, I should say, and then each corner. And then we're just going to build a little dome here. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this up a little bit. And I'm eyeballing this dome. I don't normally recommend eyeballing domes, but I've done quite a few of them, and I'm okay at them. It's also a small one. So the smaller domes you can usually get away with eyeballing. Larger ones you want to measure out, usually with a pixel game or voxel game sphere generator, which I'm sure if you've played the other block game, you know what I'm talking about. And then we should be able to bring this in and up one more, although I am thinking we might just want to do this and start that process. Yeah, let's do it that way. And then last but not least, we cap it off with some more. Now that might actually be a little too tall. You know what? No. I kind of like it. I like that it's not quite a sphere. I like it being a little bit pointy. It's also very hard to even see. That is so funny. It is just so wispy. It's really interesting. I like it. And I do think it is time for us to do a bit of chiseling. I want to smooth out some of these arches here and maybe even build this up a little bit. And then that should help this look a bit less blocky. I might also do a little bit of chiseling on the lake ice, but not a whole lot. I just want to round off a few of those corners, and we'll call it a day for that, because that is hard to work with. So let's get our chisels out, let's get our ladders out. Do I have some spare blocks? I do. And let's get our little way up here. I think I will start with these guys. Again, I'm just going to chunk out like one corner from each of these if possible. Maybe some edges here. Like that, and then down here we'll just take off this corner again. Now, as far as these corner blocks and these archway blocks here, I think what I want to do is get a better look at it from here. Yeah, I think we're probably going to thicken that up a little bit just in these two so we can get a slope going on. And then we'll just sort of chisel a slope in there and call it a day. And with those done, we get our pantograph out. And we prepare to copy and then spin those. Okay, there we go. Oops. Now the lighting on these again is kind of weird. I don't quite know why. It gets extra dark in places that it doesn't need to be. And adjusting these with the chisel doesn't seem to help, so again, maybe a game restart will. But I guess time will tell for that one. I do think that a circular arch might look better, but a circular arch, especially with these joints here, is probably a little bit beyond what I can handle mathematically. At least in order to make it look good. But what we could do is we could see if it would make sense to kind of just take out some of this. I don't know. Does that look good? Apparently I can just fall even though I'm crouching. Does that make that edge there look awkward? Yes, it does. Okay, we're going to put that back. And we're going to not touch that then. I think the last thing for the upper exterior we're going to do is we're going to push these back with the hand planer again. We're not working with a whole lot of colors here, so depth is going to be our friend in this. And there we go. That kind of reminds me of the very white, wispy architecture of the High Elves in Lord of the Rings in the woods, where they have those sort of white stone platforms in the trees. Lots of white stone and not a lot of color. So yeah, I think next we're going to fill out all of this with some more marble. Assuming I have enough, which I might. I'm also actually going to bring this down one more. So what I want to do here is listen to the howl of my friends. And we're going to take this out here. I'm going to drop you in there and plop you back on there. We'll test it in the next temporal storm and see if that stops structures from falling in. If it does, we'll raise it again. No big deal. Alright folks, here we have a largely complete building. It is pretty empty, but I did decide to go ahead and kind of vary up some of the blocks we're using because I did think that using so much of the marble was going to get a little bit tiring to the eyes. So I thought grounding it with some nice andesite, especially polished stuff on the outside and a little bit of unpolished on the inside, could help bring a darker color, but one that matches the white marble a bit because of the blues present in this rock. On the floor on the inside, on the first floor, we do have a bunch of unpolished andesite as like a bit of a path toward the ladders here. And then down here at the bottom, we have a space for a wooden trunk. There we go. And we also are going to need some space or some locations to put either lanterns or torches or just something for light in general. I went with a simpler floor here because with all the killing going on down here, it's going to be easier to clean up after ourselves if we have a nice smooth floor to mop up rather than this really nice polished bricks or stones with these sort of beveled edges in between. And I also came in here, and one of the problems with ladders is that, let's say we had a ladder, if I can find them. There you are. Right here. If I was in a hurry, like let's say that a Nightmare Drifter spawned down here with me, which in the last Temporal Storm one actually did. If I was in a rush to get out, I'd run over here and jump, and I'd get stuck. Then I get killed. However, if I put one like this, well, I can get up, so can the Drifter. They can reach one block up. However, with this kind of design, I can use this to run into, and I will be able to jump and reach the ladder, while also keeping any Drifters down here from being able to reach me, and feast on my juicier parts. Now, as for the doors, oh, the doors. Well, I thought that it would be great to use some doors that really match the motif here. And so we're going for Purple Heart doors. That's right. Purple Heart doors. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. Don't kill me. I'm just kidding. I'm actually kind of stumped on what to use here. I've tried a couple different door ideas and I don't like them. And so I'm not sure what we'll do. There is a chance we might just do this, and drifters can't get in that way, so it'll be safe. Plus, it makes sense to have a nice sort of open-air tea house. Wouldn't need doors here, would it? So that's one option I'm toying with. We can try it, and we'll see if it keeps us safe enough. Now, we do need some decorations in here, and of course, since this is a tea house, we'll need some tables. I'm thinking matching tables. And one of these will be for tea, maybe this one. The other one will be for music. There we go. Finally found a place to put this thing. Now, we don't actually have a place to store the tuning cylinders because in the next version, there'll be these nice scroll racks we can put down. I can actually bring them up here. So they're similar to the clutter, but they're buildable and they look like they're made out of the same wood as these tables here. But that's not coming till 1.19. And sure, we could keep them down in this chest here, but this is actually for spare spears, or spear spares, whichever one. So for now, I think we're going to need to find something a bit fancier to keep our stuff in. And sure, we could go and get a clay storage vessel and drop it in here, but it's a very stark black, and it might kind of ruin the decor of the room. And the same goes for planters. We only have the black planters, and they function, but they're very dark, and we have a very bright room. So for now, I think the first and currently only decoration we'll do is with some vines. I think that being an Elven design here, we would have vines climbing down from various places in the building here. And so I thought some vines would be a lot of fun. So as for the decoration in here, I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to wait, because I have something in mind for next episode where we're going to talk about how to get fancier things to put in here for storage and for decoration and for putting plants in, and also how to optimize your ability to get those things, aka traders. Because we can get fancy planters, we can get fancy pots, and we can get fancy clay vessels from traders, ones that we can't actually make ourselves. Now, if we had certain mods on, we could glaze them ourselves, and that would work, but we don't have those mods on, and they do change the game enough that I'd rather stay away from them. So for today, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put a 2-block high ceiling in here. And we're going to limit ourselves to that. And the reason is that, and someone actually told me about this a while ago, I just didn't change the design of the original structure. But I did find out in our last temporal storm with that drifter surprising me, that if you have a 3-block high ceiling in your drifter pit, even though you might have stones on the floor, drifters can spawn 1 block above the stones. And since the Nightmare Drifter was 2 blocks tall, it had 3 blocks of space, or 2 blocks of space to spawn. So it spawned basically on this block, just in the air. So we're going to limit that, actually hopefully negate that by having a 2-block tall ceiling. And as far as stoning, what we're going to do here is we are going to use the opposite kind of stone to what the floor is made of. So on these andesite blocks, we will use marble. And on the marble blocks, we'll use andesite. And I think that should make a bit of an interesting little floor here. Yeah, it's not like ideal. I would rather have a nice smooth floor. But for safety's sake, we do have to use some kind of stoning in here. And we'll do the same out here on all of the surfaces that need it. And yes, that includes the table. And we'll also do here on these. And this, of course, is not going to be as effective at keeping us safe because this is a taller design. So things could spawn up here, maybe on top of the resonator. And so it will not be as safe up here in general. But that's okay. I think we can live with that. What I'll do is I'm going to actually be able to close these now, which we did not have in the original design because we weren't underground. And that way we can have a nice safe place down here to do all our killings. We can have a big chest full of spare spears. And I will also probably come down here with probably a lantern or 2. I think what we'll do is let's take out, say, this one. Ooh, I don't know. Maybe we just do it right here. Let's put a lantern right there. Maybe 2 lanterns just for symmetry's sake. Yeah, why not? And we'll come in and let's do probably lanterns on the outside. I don't think that we would need lanterns inside, but I think what we might do is bring in maybe some of the little tea lights, the oil lamps. Maybe put them like on the inside here, or maybe like, I don't know, maybe up here, or maybe like one on the table, or even just kind of hanging off one of these here. So let's go do that. I'll be right back with some lights in just a moment. Oh, before we go though, I want to give a shout out to a patron who gave a great idea, and suggestion in fact, to some stranger who proposed a different design for this little bit of wall here. And in between cuts, I did go ahead and make their recommended changes along with a bit of a touch of my own. So thank you, some stranger, for the great idea. That was excellent, and I think that helps bring this part of the build together just a little bit better. Alright, here we go, folks. I figured since it is a nice, quiet night, rift-wise, I thought we could take a look together after we put some lights up here and see how this place looks. So I think we already have plenty of light for inside, but I do want to put tea lights here just to change the warmth. If you look at it, it gives it a bit of a more reddish hue compared to the lanterns, so I like that. We'll open those while we're working in here. And then down here, we'll come through and drop some of these guys. I don't like that too much. I'm not sure what we can do to fix that. Oh, this isn't even chiseled rock. That's a mistake on my part. Well, that didn't seem to help. So I think we're going to have to just live with some really junky lighting here. But we'll never see it because we always carry a lantern anyway. Not a big deal. So yes, so next episode, I want to finish decorating this place. We're going to get some of the things we need, including the stained glass to go in here. And then we'll bring it all back. We'll explore how to get it and how to maximize your profits. And then we will finish decorating this little drifter tea house. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this adventure in building a very different architectural style to our current and usual one, and playing with some blocks that we haven't really touched on before, like the ancient pillars and stairs and so on. I think given our current build trajectory, this is probably the only way to really use a whole lot of marble in a build, so I'm kind of pleased with how it came out. If you enjoy what I do around here, let me know by leaving a like or dropping a comment to let me know how I'm doing. And I'd love to have you subscribe if that's your thing. But for now, as always, my name has been Corazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.